All right, friends, we are back here at that 1870s Homestead. My name's Rachel, and we're back with our top 5 garden picks for this year. In today's video is if you're thinking about really clean foods, and this is foods that have been known and researched and tested to have the highest pesticides and chemical residues on them, post-washing them, ready for food consumption from the conventional or commercial farming industry. So non-organic, bought from the store. If that's not a choice for you, what are some of those things that you should be thinking about growing in your garden this year? Now, almost all of these are products that are crops that I have mentioned in the last 2 videos. If you missed those, number 1 was what are those things that are going to save you money at the grocery store? Number 2 was really high yielding crops. And the great thing about these being repeats is that you know that these are really bad sources if you're dependent on them at the grocery store. They are going to do damage to not only you and your own health, but your children. If you're a pregnant mama or thinking about starting a family, things that you may not want to be introducing to your growing child in vitro. So just to give you guys some tips on this, where did I learn about this originally? My best friend was diagnosed with cancer years ago now, and she switched to an all-organic diet and learned about this from her doctors and her own research about, making these smart choices in her journey. And she's battled with cancer for many, many years and ultimately is cancer-free. Praise the Lord. So I am on EWG's website. They publish an updated list every single year. They've worked with the government, the USDA, the FDA to improve standards for testing of residual pesticides and chemicals on products. But they still publish what are those dirty dozen every single year. So number 1 is strawberries. And I'm going to say beyond strawberries, if you think about you're eating the outer surface of a fruit that has been commercially produced, whether it's blueberries, grapes, pears, apples, nectarines, anything that you're going to eat that outer skin, there is going to be something residual on it. And all of those are on this list just about. So what is... why is it not clicking in? I found a better website. Let me go there. What is it about strawberries? Let me tell you. So some of these things are just so sad that I wish I had known when I was raising my children. And like I said, one of the reasons that we got into gardening ourselves was just to have 100% control over knowing that there's no chemicals going into our body. Because honestly, even the organic farmers, if you're a certified organic farmer in the United States, you're forced to spray some things on your food. So it said 99% of the strawberries sampled, and then again, this sampling is post-washing, tested positive for pesticide, and 30% had residues of 10 or more pesticides. So that's a big one. So I found the link that I was looking for that talks about what are these pesticides and what have they been known to cause. So in strawberries, I'm going to butcher these things. Carbendazim. That was in 16% of the samples, is a hormone disrupting fungicide that damages the male reproductive system and has been banned from the European Union states. So if you've done any kind of research around the European Union food standards versus the US food standards, I think you would be shocked. So I would just encourage you to research what the U.S. is allowing to be sprayed and used in our commercial food growing industry versus other countries' standards. Another key one was bifenthrin, found in more than 29% of the samples. It is an insecticide that has been designated by California regulators as having possible human carcinogens, so cancer-causing agents. So anyway, a couple of big highlights there. Look at this EWG's website. It really goes into the real breakdown, and there's a ton of stuff listed here, but those are a couple key highlights. Number 2, spinach. And spinach we do grow in our garden. Spinach is something that we eat quite frequently, and spinach is something that, way back to Popeye days, right? Children, eat your spinach. Mamas, eat your spinach for the folate acid and the qualities of baby's brain development. So spinach is just something that is a really great source for us, but not commercially grown spinach. So if you're going to grow spinach or need to consume spinach, at least buy organic if you have to at the store. If you can't afford organic, it's something that you're going to want to look to grow yourselves. So spinach is something that is also contains some of those EU banned pesticides. So what were some of the key ones? Permethrin. So permethrin is a common pesticide that we often hear about. I think around here we think about it for tick prevention. Maybe it's like something that's also known in a common like lice, like to remove lice. So I'm not quite sure why permethrin is used as a pesticide. I wouldn't know that application, but permethrin has been known to as a risk to children's brain development, possible causes of ADHD in children. So if you think about I hate to be a conspiracy theorist here, but you think about the uptick from when I grew up anyway, the uptick with children, the amount of children with ADHD, and also the high, gosh, am I going way off of a rail here? Like how much they promote eat your spinach when you're pregnant. I don't know when that came out, but I remember being told that. And my children are of the generation that really increased diagnoses of ADHD. I don't know. Something to think about. So there was also 3 other pronounced fungicides present. Mandopropam, fluopicolide. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to pronounce these. Oh, geez, so much stuff. I'm reading this. So much stuff banned. Okay, so in summary, I'm going to go back because I want to do these consistently. Spinach has, on average, 7.1 pesticides on every sample collected, with a maximum of 19 different pesticides, and then 1 to 3 fungicides still present. And again, folks, this is post-washing, ready to consume. So something that you're going to want to just stay away from if at all costs. Try to grow it yourself if you can't afford to buy organic at the store. All right, so let's go back to the list. So that was strawberries, or let's just put fruit in a category if you're eating the skins, spinach, and then peppers. So remember I said at the beginning of this video, the last 2 videos I've done, I've mentioned these things already in the past because of either the cost savings purposes, the high yield purposes, the versatility of use, whatever it is. And now we know that it's also one of the best crops that we can grow to avoid chemicals and pesticides coming into our body. But peppers is on the list as well. So specifically, like I'm talking bell peppers, but I would assume it's all pepper categories. So let me go there and let's talk about peppers. 110 pesticides were detected on hot peppers and bell peppers. One of the highest numbers across all the board. So just stay away from peppers if you can. Now I maybe understand. In the last video, I was talking about the price of organic bell peppers at the grocery store right now are like $5 for 2 or something like that. And the reward of being able to grow your own. And I will tell you, peppers is one of those things that if you slice it or chop it, vacuum seal it and put it in your freezer, you almost can't tell when you go to cook with it that it was frozen. They hold their texture, they hold their qualities so well when frozen that it's almost silly not to grow your own. So peppers is on that list. So how many have we done? Strawberries, spinach, peppers, that's 3. I'm gonna pick another one. Green beans. Green beans. Similar to berries, 9 out of all 10 green bean samples had pesticides residues found. More than 70% of the samples showed 2 or more pesticides. 6% showed traces of acephate, a pesticide that was banned 10 years ago in the EU. And so I'm not sure what that does, but you can take your time and do your research on each one of these things. But green beans, again, another huge high yielding crop. If your family likes green beans and it's something that you're sourcing, another great reason to grow a lot of it in your garden. Then I'll just put the other fruit in that category. Whatever other fruit you're growing. So I'll tell you what all's on this list. Apples, nectarines, pears, grapes, blueberries. If any of those are in your family's diet on a regular basis, so we have blueberries, we have apples, we have peaches, and we have pears all growing here. So I knew those going in. Those are dirty dozen. Get them growing now. So because those are things that take time to produce enough that you can cut back. But if you can't fully satisfy your family's needs, source organic and try to grow as much of it as you can yourself. So there's my top 5 things to think about growing for the purposes of clean eating. Again, reducing your pesticides and chemicals coming into your family's diet, those things that have been known to cause cancers, cause hormone disruptors, all kinds of things. So hope that inspires you, and I think that's going to wrap up our little mini series this morning, in the mornings together this week. If you guys are interested in anything else, and there is just to let you know, there is on this website, the top 15 that are considered your best clean choices if buying commercially. So it's not all bad news. There's some good choices out there too. I'll leave a link to the website in the description below. And yeah. So if there's anything else that you think, Rachel, I'd love to hear your thoughts on. I'm planting a garden for the first time, or I want to make better choices and know why I'm making the choices of the things that I'm growing in the garden. Feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll see if it makes sense, and we might do a video on it in the future. See you guys. Talk to you later.